Hey folks, Dust here, and I wanted to do a video to talk a little bit about my personal experiences working at ELEAGUE for week one. Now, I won't go into any detail about the matches or results. I'll probably do something separate about that, but I just really wanted to focus on kind of what it was like just working for this project and working with all the various people that were involved. And I decided to do a little bit of a picture slideshow to go along with it, just to give you some pictures I took while I was there, as well as just some pictures from the event rather than just seeing a talking head the entire time. So basically, the whole experience started for me whenever I flew in on Thursday the 19th of the month, which was the day before rehearsal. And on this day, I met up with Moses, who is someone that I used to work with a long time ago at ESCA back in, I think, 2014. Actually, when Moses just first got started, I think some of his first broadcasts were with people like me and Sadakist and Vansili. And so it was really cool meeting up with him again. I had seen him at a few MLG events I had worked at where he would kind of just drive over and visit because he was relatively close to the area. And he's always someone that I've communicated with online pretty regularly, getting advice and tips and just, talking about things. And he's always been a pretty good friend of mine. So it's cool meeting up with him again. We also met up with a friend of mine who I had played Counter-Strike with for a very long time and had met a few times in person in the past. And so we kind of just, the three of us got together, kind of just hung out that day. My friend who was local kind of showed us some cool spots to eat at and hang out at. And so we just kind of relaxed that night for the most part, waiting for rehearsal the next day. And so rehearsal took place on Friday the 20th. And I met Mo that morning randomly in the lobby, and we actually went and had breakfast together before rehearsal. And I had seen Mo before. I think I had seen him at ClutchCon, which was a LAN event that I'd rather forget about, to be honest, that took place way back in January of 2015, so a year and a half ago. And of course, he's someone that I've spoken to online here and there, and obviously I know him for his stream and for when he was a player for some various teams. I had done some content surrounding him in the past. Really nice guy to meet in person. Definitely, was cool hanging out with him, having a bite to eat, and just talking a little bit to each other. Excellent guy, of course. And then we actually went to the rehearsal. And I know that Moses spent a lot of time talking about the rehearsal day in detail in the video he did about his first impressions of ELEAGUE. And I will link that in the description below this video because I think you really should take a listen to it, because I feel like he really explained things at a great level of detail. And I think he really nailed it. It really nailed how all of us felt, I think. I think we all collectively had kind of the same mentality. So I will link that below, but I will re-emphasize a couple of things in this video, which is, first of all, just the refreshing mentality that the people had at ELEAGUE, whether it was Turner Sports staff or staff from WMEIMG or just the different people who were involved. The mentality that these folks had was excellent. When we had our production meeting, before rehearsal started, there was one very clear message that held out throughout the entire week, which was just the fact that these guys wanted to be authentic. They wanted to be accepted by the overall Counter-Strike and esports community, and that they just wanted to do their best to put out the best product possible. And it was very much about them informing us that they wanted us to do what we would normally do, treat this no differently than any other broadcast or any other event that we had worked for. Keep it casual, keep it conversational, have fun, and that they would kind of follow us, basically. They would make the adaptations necessary to make sure that the product we put out was something that all of us could be proud of, and something that we were familiar with and that you would be familiar with and that you would come to enjoy. And I think that was just so cool to hear, because I know in the past it happened differently. It was very much we had to adapt to what TV wanted, so to speak. I guess not we. I wasn't a part of it back then, but people know what I'm talking about. And I know that this was always a concern that people had when they heard about ELEAGUE's launch way back when. They were always a big concern. Oh no, are we going to have to take commercial breaks in the middle of a half, or are we going to have to worry about, the rules being changed or the format that's being changed? Is it going to kind of tamper the competitive integrity of CSGO and what we've come to realize is the optimal way to play the game? I know a lot of people had those fears, and just none of that was a problem. None of it. These people wanted to put on CSGO the way CSGO is supposed to be put on. They wanted the broadcast to be put on the way that we love to see it, right? I mean, it was just exceptional, like, mentality from these people. The culture was amazing. It felt like we were a family, like we were a community, that we were all working towards the same goal. And they were so open-minded. Any suggestions that we had, they were keen on hearing them. Any adjustments that we wanted, or anything that we felt needed to be maybe even just removed or what have you, they were always open ears, and they were always looking for the best way to alleviate any issues that there were, if there were any. They just were awesome. And this carried on throughout the entire week. Every production meeting that we had, because we always had a production meeting before a broadcast or a post-production meeting after the broadcast was over, any topics we brought up were addressed and were handled. The perfect example of this was, I know after the first day of the broadcast, people were talking a little bit about the music in between rounds, and a couple of other little things that were kind of bothersome, I guess, and that was immediately handled. They heard what the community said, they heard what we said, and they took it into account, and they adjusted things, and they made it better. And that's just one example, right? It was just awesome stuff. And so then we did an actual full-fledged rehearsal from top to bottom, probably one of the most detailed rehearsals I've ever done for an esports event. They really just paid close attention to detail and wanted to make sure that any issues that we had were hammered out, and that we were going to have a smooth show come opening day. So again, it was just crazy how much time and effort they put into this. They committed all their resources to it. They spared no expenses. They're bringing in people who have years and years of experience working in traditional sports broadcast, who have won Emmy Awards in traditional sports broadcasting. They really just committed their all to this. They didn't cut any corners. They didn't take any shortcuts. They stepped up to the plate, and they just put forth 110%, or more effort into making sure that this was going to be the best it could. And so that was awesome. They also took amazing care of us. I didn't talk about that, I guess, when we checked in. Amazing hotel, shuttle service back and forth to the venue. Really, really made sure that we were comfortable and we were taken care of. And we always had people asking us if we needed anything. We had runners who would help us if we needed something. Everyone was accessible, from whether they were the highest up employee there or whether, whatever, just you could talk to anyone. Everyone was accessible. Everyone was open-minded and open ears. And it was so cool to be able to have that level of communication and that kind of that family vibe that, we're all in this together. It was just a really cool culture to be a part of over there. And so I'll just kind of leave it at that. Again, check out Moses' video. He really goes into detail about the rehearsal day more than I did, and I think that he brings up some really excellent points. And again, it was something that we all collectively felt, so definitely check that out. And so then at the rehearsal, this is where I really got to meet Simler for the first time. Actually, I had never spoken with him before in person. I had talked to him online a bit. Very, very nice guy, Simler. He was very helpful to me as well throughout the week. He was giving me advice, on things I could tweak to, be a little bit better. So like fixing my posture when I was sitting at the desk was one example, and just, kind of coaching me to be confident and comfortable, that, I knew my stuff, I could deliver it well. So just go up there and do it and just have a good time and have fun. And sometimes you just have to have that little reminder like, hey, I can do this. I just need to sit down and do it. And so having someone who's just supportive and can kind of, point you in the right direction was incredible. And it wasn't just Simler that did that. He was just one of the many. I mean, everyone was pitching in at different times, and it was reciprocal. We were all doing it for each other. Just make, whether it was a supportive pat on the back, great job, or whether it was hey, like maybe you should pay attention to this, whatever. We were all open ears. There was no conflict. It was all very much about getting everyone on the same page and making sure that we could all succeed together. So then after that, we actually had the weekend off basically because we didn't have media day until Monday. And so throughout the weekend, it was about meeting the other talent like Anders, who I had met once before, a very long time ago at an earlier ESCA event and had talked to online, but had never seen for a very long time. So it was cool meeting back up with him. Obviously seeing Richard, who came through as well, someone I had met in person at Gfinity, and we worked together there on the desk. And that's a lot of the reason why I was here actually, was because we worked together very well. And he enjoyed my work. He's been very helpful. Someone I've also talked to a lot online as well. So again, just excellent dude. Great meeting him. Puckett's someone I've worked with at some MLG events back in the past. He was also at the Gfinity event that I was at in London a few weeks ago. And he's always been super helpful to me. Always, the level of knowledge that he has about production, as well as like little things about talent that, that he just gets from the amount of years of experience he has had doing this is so valuable to someone like me who is less experienced, who hasn't had as much, I guess, like education about, production and broadcasting and things like that. So it's always really cool listening to him and getting a piece of advice from him. And he's also just an incredibly nice guy to hang out with and talk to. Sapphire and Prius, the two observers, got to hang out with him throughout the weekend as well. Fifth Laren also wound up showing up one of the first days of the broadcast of the week, and he hung out with us, took us out to eat. Fifth Laren, obviously this dude's awesome, right? Everyone knows Fifth Laren is this nice dude. Hung out with us, it was really awesome, really supportive as well. So it was great stuff. Again, just a great, first few days being in Atlanta, getting ready for the actual broadcast. And then we had Media Day on Monday. And Media Day, we actually did a full-fledged photo shoot, which was hilarious because I had never done one before. Some of the other guys hadn't either. We were taking like a bajillion photos in various poses with headsets on or mics in our hands or whatever. Some of them were just goofing off and having a good time. It was really cool stuff for all of us to do that and just kind of hang out together. We got like a little bit of a tour of the actual Turner Studios campus that day as well. Just got to see a little bit of the different areas of the campus and, met a bunch of people that work there. And it was just a cool day. And then we had the actual press conferences and then we did interviews. I did an interview personally with the IGN Esports Daily, Esports Today, I think it's called, with SiriusXM Radio with Kevin Naki. Sorry, butchered that last name for sure. Some of the other guys that work over there did an interview with them. Also did an interview with the Score Esports, and I later did an interview with the Daily Dot Esports with Josh Raven. So really cool getting to talk to all those people, letting them know what was up, giving them some insight into what was going on and answering all those questions. Really cool stuff. We also had a team dinner that night on Media Day where we got together with, all the players, all the talent, all the production crew and staff, meeting Mensick and Christine, who are the GM and commissioner of the league, and hanging out with those people, really awesome people as well, really cool to talk to. Ben Spitalnik, who is one of the people that deal with talent a lot over at Turner Sports. Not sure his official title off the top of my head, but, he was there. He was with us throughout the rest of the week, really took good care of us. They had some other people who took really good care of us, like Tara and Leah and some different people who we met throughout the week. Sorry, I can't remember all these names to those, but they took great care of us as well. We hanging out with them more during the team dinner. This is also where I got to have like a 2-hour conversation with Craig Berry, who, if you don't know who Craig Berry is, he is, I believe, the EVP of Turner Sports, and he's like the chief content officer. I might have gotten that a little bit wrong, but basically he was one of the guys from kind of way up the food chain that were very involved with the project. And it was cool to see just how hands-on he really was with this project. He was constantly in communication with us, again, constantly accessible. So it was really cool speaking with him, getting to kind of tap his mind about things. I think it was myself, Simler, Puckett, and Craig Berry sitting at a table together for dinner, and we were just able to ask him questions, learn from him, pick his brain. He was asking us questions, trying to pick our brains about esports and Counter-Strike. And again, the consistent mentality from what we had seen at rehearsal and such about just wanting to put on an authentic product, wanting to do CSGO justice, not trying to butcher it and mold it to TV, but adapting to the game itself and really just keeping the integrity of it, as well as the same with the broadcast and the talent, letting us do our thing, do what we're used to doing, put on a good show that, the best show that we could, that it's the kind of show that the community would love. And, it wasn't about, instant profits and just instant excellent ratings. Those are the things that they would build up over time. It was very much a long-term game, to put on a great show and put on a great product and evolve it over time into something great. And, it was just really cool speaking with him and having a good time. And then, of course, after that, us and the talent got together at the hotel, hung out again, had a great time. And then we started work on Tuesday, and of course I worked personally Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on the broadcast with the round robin games, as well as I did one of the semifinals matches, and I worked directly with Richard Lewis and Moses throughout those days on the desk. First day I felt like I was a little bit rough. I was, certainly nervous, a little bit more verba fillers than normal. But I think throughout the next couple of days I got really comfortable. I had a blast doing it. I had to adapt my information a little bit because I'm the type of guy who goes like way overboard on details sometimes, like about tactics and strategy and things like that. So I had to focus on being more concise and just kind of making sure my delivery was good, making sure that we had a good flow between us on the desk. And I think it just got better over time throughout the week, and it was just so much fun working out there. And even though I didn't work directly with Mo, Anders, and Simler, obviously we were in constant communication throughout those days in the green room, supporting one another, pointing things out to one another to try to make things better if necessary. And again, it was very much just like this team mentality where everyone was in it together and everyone was supporting one another. It felt like a family, like it really did. And that's not just from the talent, but also all the production crew, all the executive staff, social media team people that were there, PR team and marketing team people that were there, photographers, cameramen, stage managers, just the whole 9 yards. Everyone that was involved was so supportive to one another. Everyone was smiles and laughs. It was so much fun, and the environment was just overwhelmingly positive. It was one of the coolest things I've ever been a part of. I'll cherish the memories I made here forever because it was so cool being a part of this first week of ELEAGUE. Then, of course, we had the Friday night broadcast where we got to see just Mo, Richard, and Moses just kill it on the desk. And then Anderson Simmer obviously did incredible with the commentary. Prius and Sapphire doing great on the observing. Jason Baker, Steve Daly, I can't remember the other Steve, but he was awesome. Matt, all these guys up in production room, dealing with the direction and production of the show just did an excellent job. And there's a bunch of other people involved as well. I can't possibly remember all these names, but, shout out to those guys who just really put their all in, and I thought put on a great show, and it was great stuff. And again, throughout all these days, the family environment we had outside the studio, just hanging out with Fiflaren, and we met a bunch of other people along the way as well. It was an incredible experience. That's all I can really say. In conclusion, I will continue to do some writing for ELEAGUE, by the way, so you might see some stuff published from me on the ELEAGUE website throughout the coming weeks. As far as whether or not I'll be on the desk again, I'm not 100% sure on that yet, but hopefully I can come in for like another group or something like that down the line. Definitely enjoyed working there and would definitely do it again. Regardless, though, it was incredible just to be a part of this first week. Also, to conclude, just again want to emphasize the fact how much of a family this really was. It just felt like we were all in it together. Their attention to detail was excellent, whether it came down to the studio details or the details and all like the transitions, the 3D modeling, the custom bullet shells with the ELEAGUE and TBS stuff engraved on it, all the mini documentaries and features that they did. The attention to detail was flawless. The content was incredible. The attention to detail just out of this world. I swear every time I saw a segment a second time around, or every time I walked in the studio, I noticed something new and impressive. So they really just put so much into this, and I was proud to be a part of this, and I just think they did such an amazing job, really capturing what CSGO is and really putting it on a big stage, elevating the production value to a whole new level, but keeping true to the game and to esports. It was so refreshing to see this mentality that they had. It's one of those things where, you feel like something's too good to be true, but this was true all the way through. There was nothing false, no hidden things that were negative. Everything was great. The expression, you can't have your cake and eat it too, well, you could hear. I don't even know if that makes sense. But the bottom line is that it truly was one of the most incredible projects I've been a part of, and can't say enough. But obviously I don't want this video to drag on forever, but I just wanted to kind of give you a little bit of insight about what it was like working at week one. If you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to ask. If there's like a Reddit thread or something with this, feel free to post on it. If there's not, tweet at me, whatever. Would love to answer any questions and be as transparent as I can. Other than that, yeah, thanks for checking this out. I'll have some other content in the description below that you can check out if you want a little bit more information, and I'll just leave it at that. Thanks so much, guys.